Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Well played. They sound like a shady bait-and-switch operation. They expect you to be desperate and have to pay. Good on you for not falling for it, OP. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Less for more. So a few years back, I had this strange experience with a local moving company. I had to vacate my apartment quickly so I wouldn't pay any extra fee. But because of my job, the only date I had free to do it was on a Sunday. I listed to the guy on the phone all of our furniture and made an estimation of boxes and extra items since we were still organizing everything, and her gave me a price of $400 for the job, including 2 helpers. Then comes the day we scheduled and the moving guys arrive. We weren't able to finish boxing everything, so we asked them to move whatever was already on boxes, and we'd find a way to move the rest later. This one guy started asking questions about the apartment, pointing out how spacious it was and how expensive the rent must be. The other 2, instead of picking up boxes, started going into the rooms and making similar observations. Half an hour into this, their boss came to me and said, "So this is a bigger apartment than we thought, and there are more unboxed stuff than we agreed on. So to move everything, we'd have to charge you at least $1,000. I argued that the size of the apartment had nothing to do with the quantity of things to be transported, and that he was informed beforehand of everything that had to be carried. He again pointed out that there was stuff not in boxes, and once again I said he could move only the things already in boxes, which were less items than we agreed on the phone, for the same price we initially agreed on. He said he'd talk to his team and get back to me. A few minutes later, he returned saying that they wanted to move it all for the new price or no deal. I said, "Let me get this straight. I'm offering to pay the same amount we agreed on for just half of the job, but not only you want to charge me more than twice it, you also want to decide what you're going to pick up from my stuff. Even stuff that I'm telling you not to move? Well, here's another proposal. Why don't you go back to your truck, then pay for the gas you spent and your team's fee from your own pocket, go back to your own home and spend the day watching cartoons." I later told my boss what happened, and he gave me a day off during the week to move. This allowed not only to finish boxing everything up, but also to hire another company which charged me only $250 for the whole job, since it's cheaper to move on a weekday. Well done, OP. Your story's a testament to the challenges and frustrations that can come with hiring moving services. It's unfortunate that the initial moving company tried to change the terms of the agreement on the day of the move, and your response to their unreasonable demands was both clever and assertive. The way you stood your ground, proposed a fair solution, and eventually found an alternative moving company that charged a more reasonable price showcases resilience and problem-solving skills. Your boss's support in granting a day off for the move adds a positive element to the narrative, highlighting the importance of workplace understanding. And our second story. We're creating an hourly bank now? Sure, go for it. For some context, I work in a hotel. For those who have worked in this field or are currently in it, you know what I mean when I say we don't exactly have schedules. For those who haven't, stick with me and you'll know what I mean. So I've always been the helpful kind of employee. You need a new menu done? Canva and Go? Someone to welcome the guests and take them to their rooms? Sure. I only don't drive, and only because I didn't take my permit yet. Different country, different laws, etc. So even though I'm a receptionist, I do pretty much anything that needs to be done. Even though it's a small hotel, not even 30 rooms, helping me with everything and still caring for you position do take a lot of time, which means I usually stay overtime. And also, if a coworker feels sick, they also know I'm the one to call. Happened before. So the day before yesterday, our chef suggested me and my morning coworker leave because the afternoon receptionist had arrived already, so we could keep social distancing and limit the amount of people doing nothing. She said she'd already talked to the boss and he had allowed it, so we left. The next morning, yesterday, we started reading the previous messages to catch up and caught this exact chef telling our boss that she had released us early so we would owe them our credit. The thing is, there's never been such a thing in there, since the afternoon coworker and I usually stay past our time or come up early because some other employees do not respect their schedule. Also, I always show up when needed and am always available through text messages to clarify and help with whatever situations happen. So yesterday afternoon, she started the same conversation, texting us and suggesting we leave early so there wouldn't be too many people in there. My colleague agreed. I simply didn't. I said I was saving my hour credits for when I actually needed them, and since she's not the boss, she can't actually force me to leave, so she didn't. But she also hates when people disobey her, and my coworker said, I was taking my break when it happened, she was screeching madder than he's ever seen her. And I still stayed until 3:30 p.m. I usually leave at 4 p.m. and only left a half an hour early because I was bored and my boyfriend suggested we meet, and since his schedule's also chaos, I wouldn't let that chance slip. And I'll keep doing that. You want me to leave early so I owe hour credit? No, thank you. I'd rather stay and find something useful to do because, I love being here. It contains sarcasm. My motto is flexibility goes both ways. If sometimes you stay longer to finish your tasks, help your colleagues, then you should be allowed to leave early when there's less work on the table. If they punish you for leaving early, then you know the rules. Don't give them an extra minute for free unless you get confirmation in written form that they'll pay you overtime or grant you credit. Maintaining your Excel sheet's a good way for you to realize all the money you're leaving on the table, but don't magically expect them to honor them. You've been working for free until now, and they're fine with that situation. It sucks for your afternoon friend, but it's not your problem. If you're too nice, they'll walk all over you. And our last story. Karen mistakes me for a bank employee, proceeds to attempt to rob the bank, and gets arrested. Background. About 20 years ago, I worked for a company that made software for banks and credit unions. 2 smaller regional banks merged, and we were called in to upgrade all the branches for the same version of software and to point the network to the new consolidated bank. This happens after hours so as to not interfere day-to-day operations. The whole process took several hours on site at each branch, so we were sure we would have plenty of time to roll things back if anything went wrong. We started a few hours before the bank closed. This would give us time to fix anything before the bank opened the next day. The process started with a meeting to go over the plan for the branch so the bank staff, some of who would be helping with the process because my team doesn't have complete access to the bank's systems. This is a small bank. There's 4 offices, a conference room, and space for like 5 tellers up front. It turned out it was payday for some large employer or something, but just as I started my meeting with the branch manager, the 2 staff from my company, and the 2 staff from my company and the 2 bank employees who would be opening the bank the following day, the bank starts to get really busy. The meeting lasts about 30 minutes, and all the while, the line and waiting area is filling up, so I rush through the details for the bank manager and release him, then the 2 opening staff. I leave the details for my team for last. My team knew the process, they just needed to know what computers to start on first. Anyway, I dismissed the bank staff, and they go to help the rush up front, and I continue my meeting with my team, then send them out to get some food since it looks like the bank might not close on time anyway. I head over to the bank manager's office, and immediately a woman ducks under the rope line and makes straight for the office and tries to follow me inside. I didn't see her step out of line, so I at first thought maybe she was a bank employee. As soon as I turned around, she said something like, "It's about damn time. I've been waiting for half an hour." This was bullcrap because we started the meeting at 4:30 and it wasn't even 5 yet. I tried to tell her she was mistaken. I don't work at the bank, but she cut me off, not even paying attention to what I was saying. She plopped herself down in one of the chairs and said, "I need to make a withdrawal." I replied, "Sorry, I can't help you with that. You'll need to wait in line." "No, I've already waited for an hour. I know you can do it. You've done it before." She slaps her ID and bank card on the desk and says, "Just open the damn drawer and give me $2,000. I can't. I don't. I could even finish explaining I don't work there. Bullcrap. You've done it before. Give me $2,000. I can't. That's it. At this point, she's raised her voice and is now standing. I assumed she was going to leave, and I went to open the door, but she pushed me back and yelled, "I'm not leaving this office until you give me $2,000. She then picked up a screwdriver out of the toolkit sitting on the desk and starts prying at the desk drawer. I push her back, and she swings at me with the screwdriver. I step back, but she scratches my arm, tearing my shirt, and goes back to prying at the drawer. I've had it at this point. I'm thinking she's nuts, and I need to do something. I look out the office, and it looks like everyone is busy, and I think maybe they didn't notice her yelling. It looks like she's not making any progress on the desk. It's too sturdy. I try a calmer approach and try to get her attention. She stops for a moment and looks at me like she forgot I was there. "Are you going to give me my money or what?" she snapped. "I'm not an employee of the bank." "Bullcrap, you were just in the meeting with the other employees." "Yes, but..." "Then give me my money or get out of my way," she interrupted before pushing me again. I finally had it. I looked out the window and it seemed like all the bank employees were calm and quiet. I thought, if I'm just going to stand here and watch her rob the bank. She was a big woman, but I played hockey against bigger, so even if she had a few pounds on me, I was pretty sure I could at least slow her down. I took a step back, brought my shoulder down, then with a step and a short lunge, I shoulder checked her into a brick wall behind her. She smacked her head on the wall, gave a short whoop as I knocked the wind out of her, and then she collapsed to the floor unconscious. I watched her suspiciously for a moment, thinking that was easier than I thought. Why didn't I do that earlier? Then I thought maybe I hurt her, so I knelt down to check on her. She was breathing. I shouldn't move her. The screwdriver flew across the office, so I stepped over her and walked out into the bank. About that time, I heard sirens, lots of them. A short while later, some police came into the bank. Having just assaulted a woman, leaving her unconscious, I put my hands up. The police walked over, looked at me, then walked into the office. I turned around and the bank staff were pointing at the office where I just left. Evidently, they triggered the silent alarm as soon as she yelled at me to give her money. They moved the other customers to the conference room and were following protocols to comply and not interfere. The end result was she woke up to being handcuffed. She was seen by an EMT briefly before being arrested for armed robbery, kidnapping, and assault. The screwdriver from the toolkit was taken as evidence, and we teased my tech for the next few years. "You get your screwdriver back yet?" She came in for $2,000 and left with 5 to 10. She spent 4 years in prison. As an assault victim in that state, they notified me when she got out. The level of absurdity in this situation is almost comical, and the protagonist's quick thinking to handle the situation is commendable. The lady's misguided attempt at a heist and the subsequent resolution with the police add a layer of unpredictability to the tale. It's a mix of suspense, humor, and a touch of action that makes for an engaging and memorable story. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.